So to start off, let's play a quick game of this or that. So I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to have to pick between one or the other. So to start off, babies dressed as animals or animals dressed as humans?
Babies dressed as animals.
All right. Passion or stability?
Passion.
Money or love?
Love. Easy.
And would you rather be allergic to chocolate or allergic to wine?
Surprise answer, this is going to be wine. Allergic to wine.
Oh, I'm the same way.
From a bartender? Yeah. Chocolate's good.
All right, Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars. I'm not a big either fan, but I'll just choose Star Wars. So.
Fair enough. All right, toilet paper over or under?
Over.
Yeah.
Traditional. Yeah.
City or countryside?
Countryside.
Animals or people?
People.
And startup or established business?
Startup is exciting, but it's nice to get established, so established.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Am I good now? Welcome to the second episode of Marketing by the Minute, Season 2. This season is called On the Scene because we're visiting alumni at their places of business. This podcast is created, run, and edited by a group of students in the Integrated Marketing Communications class here at Western. We are your hosts, Talia Aukema-Gray
And Steinar Mikkelson.
Today we're here at the Blue Abode with founder Kurt Hartmaier. After pursuing his previous jobs as a bartender and manager, Kurt combined his nearly 20 years of experience with his marketing degree to open his own bar right here in Bellingham. Kurt graduated Western in 2004 with his bachelor's in marketing. When he first graduated, he worked as an agent at Farmers Insurance, then in sales and technical support at RacerMate from 2007 to 2013. He then moved into the service industry, working at multiple different restaurants and bars until in 2017, when he opened the Blue Abode Bar with his wife, Katie.
Well, Kurt, thanks for coming out and having us here in your beautiful venue.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate it.
So to start off, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, where are you from? What do you like to do?
Well, I've been in Bellingham since '99, originally from Toronto, Canada. Been in the U.S. since '97, so I came up to Bellingham went to Western and fell in love with this area, and that's how I got here, and just have a passion for outdoor activities and just enjoying a lot of things that life has to offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand you're a little bit of a track star, too. Enjoyed.
Yeah. I actually ran cross country and track at Western and had a really good time there. That was a big part of my life when I went to school, and I still try to run a little bit, but it's a little more difficult these days, with family and the bar, and as I'm the owner and operator, I'm everything here, so I'm here all the time.
So being from Toronto, was there like a certain thing that drew you to Bellingham? Like, how did you end up at Western?
I came to Washington State with my family. My parents and my brother, we all moved here. My dad had a business opportunity with a partner here in Seattle, and so that he knew from Toronto, actually, who moved out here earlier. And then we followed them, and my dad started a business. And so that brought us here. I came out here in the middle of high school, so did a couple years high school here, and then came up to Western.
And then was marketing always kind of like at the forefront of your mind when you were thinking about a major and like picking a school?
Yeah, I think so. When you're younger, you're kind of like, what do I want to do? Especially when I go to college and then past that. And kind of the business side, with my dad being an entrepreneur, kind of was always kind of leaning towards that side. I tried a couple things at Western. I started in business marketing for a few years, and then I was like, I'm not sure, and I switched my major and went to communications for a couple quarters, I believe, and then I actually went back to marketing. So and then just put my head down and I did it. So yeah.
Nice.
So.
Then so after you graduated, like, what did you do? What was kind of like your starting career path that kind of led you to where we are today?
Yeah, so it's funny when you graduate from school, you have your degree and everything, and you're just like, now what?
Yeah.
So it's kind of scary, depending on your experience too. I kind of worked at running shoe stores when I was in college, so I had a little retail side, and I ran a lot, and I did school. So I was like, okay, what do I do from here? So it was a little scary, and I had to try to figure that out. And so naturally, I was just kind of drawn to maybe some sales positions. And I did car sales for like 3 months, and that was hard. Then I went to insurance, was also was really hard as well. But I stuck at that for a little bit longer, but it still wasn't really a good fit for me at the time. I think if I did insurance now, it would be a little different with a more life experience. But it's hard. 20s, I feel, is really hard. Just trying to figure out where you're going, what you're going to do, and you have nothing, very little experience besides school and all that. So, but I was naturally drawn to like sales positions. So, I ended up moving to Seattle and I moved in with my parents as well at the time. Just kind of reset, get on my feet, find a job, and ended up at RacerMate, which is a small manufacturing company in Seattle that they make bicycle training equipment, and so that was tied to my athletic side, and I had a sales and technical supports position there, and so that's where I kind of like got on my feet, got a real job, health insurance, salary and benefits, retirement, all that stuff. So I felt really good.
And what were some of the realities that hit you like after you graduated? Was there something that was like, oh wow, like this is the real world, like I wasn't like quite prepared for this?
Yeah, definitely. I had those fears as well. But you just gotta try things, right? That's the biggest thing. Be open-minded, try things, and see where things take you, because you just never know. And as I said, I tried a few things while I was in Bellingham after I graduated, and they didn't work out. And because I really want to stay in Bellingham, like I'm sure all you probably can attest. Maybe not, but I know a lot of people really love Bellingham. They want to stay after college, and it's tough for a newbie especially, or for anybody. Because this is not Seattle where there's a ton of industry. It's definitely grown. The last 10 years especially, Bellingham has really developed, and there's more opportunities here for sure, but it's still a far cry from a big city. So I left for Seattle. I gave up on my dream of staying in Bellingham, and I was really sad about that, and I thought I'd never come back. It was really tough, and so I felt I was giving up on Bellingham. But going to Seattle, getting on my feet down there, and then ended up getting married with my wife, who is also Western alum. And then, after we got married, we talked about wanting to come back to Bellingham. Mm-hmm. How can we make this work? Yeah. And we made it work. I switched into bartending. She was new into nursing. Felt like she could get a job up in Bellingham in the hospital, mm-hmm. and then I got into bartending. I'm like, okay, there's bars in Bellingham. I can be a bartender, right? So we can make it work, right?
So clearly, it's been a while. You're back in Bellingham. You're a little bit more established. What kind of inspired the creation of the Blue Abode?
Yeah, starting a bar, in 2017 was just a bit of on a whim, which is kind of shocking, actually. If you asked me in Christmas of 2016, hey, are you going to start a bar in 2017? I'd be like, no. No, we got young kids, Katie's working at the hospital, and I don't know, just maybe when the kids are older, yeah.
Right.
And then January 2017, where I was bartending, I felt like there was an opportunity opening up in that location, which was in Linden, actually. And I was like, maybe this might be a year to open a bar. You wanna look into that? And we started looking into things, and we looked in Linden, and actually started looking in Barkley because we really liked the Barkley area, and just things kind of snowballed from there. And next thing you know, we opened the bar at the end of the year of 2017, which is November 30th, 2017 we opened, so about a month from now,
Wow.
so 5 years ago.
Wow, that's really incredible. I admire that kind of dedication to just do something on a whim, and clearly it's been very successful.
Yeah, congrats.
Did your previous jobs, obviously the bartending did, but did any of your other previous jobs play a role in the creation of the Blue Abode?
Yeah, definitely the last bartending job I had. I just really any bar that I worked at, you learn a little bit of what to do, what not to do, just like anything in life, and how you apply it to your deal, with this. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important thing, like the layout, what people like to drink,
Right.
Mood, atmosphere, why people go out, where they go out, why do they choose certain locations over other locations, I don't know, certain vibes. So, and then, you're creating it, so it's like, okay, well, I get to do whatever I want, so I'm going to try and come up with something that I think people will like, and then you put all your money and your hard work and everything that you've accumulated, and you put it into starting a business, and you just get the doors open, and then you just hope that everyone likes what you did. So
Definitely scary.
yeah, it's very scary. Yeah, we were saving up. That a big reason why the reason we were able to do this. We're fairly young. We didn't have a ton of assets. We were saving up for our first house, to buy our first house.
Okay.
I'm not a get this huge inheritance or whatever. We were living with Katie's parents actually for 3.5 years while I was bartending, while she was at the hospital, and just saving our money for our first house for 3.5 years, living with her parents. And then instead of buying our first house, we did this. So
Wow.
and then luckily this has been successful, and then we were able to buy a house after that. So. But that's how we were able to do this. So.
It's a real leap of faith, for sure.
Total leap of faith. Everything. I'll put it all in, right?
It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of kind of just opening the doors, hoping people like it, hoping it's successful, what kind of marketing tactics do you use? What kind of promotion did you do before you opened, and then what do you do now?
Yeah, so working here in Barkley has been really, really good. When we were, looking at Barkley to open, they had a lot of marketing data for us already. They know all their stuff for the whole village here, and then when they're attracting new tenants to come in, they have a lot of data to give them. So that helped a lot. But then for us, once we decided on Barkley, getting our doors open, and then getting our name out there, at the time we were using on social media a lot to get the word out. Facebook was our main social media we were using at the time, and just trying to attract people onto the page, and then do a lot of promoting on there, with daily specials and just various drinks that we're making, and then as we got into events as well, we did that as well. Use that events, pretty much until 2020. So. And
then what marketing skills and knowledge do you use that you learned at Western? Do you use any of that in your current role?
I think when I was at Western, I graduated in 2004, which was right before all the social media stuff started coming out in 2005. Right. I think Facebook came out in 2005 or whatever. And so that's a whole nother different way of using marketing and the internet and stuff like that. And even, during my time at Western, internet was still pretty new. I know you're looking at me like, gosh, you're so old. No one really had, we had cell phones, I guess, but they're not used like they are today. And, I'm just really sounding old. But yeah, so back before all that, it was a little different. So, but there's definitely core concepts that I remember, because I think in school, there's a lot you learn, and you probably just learn a few really basic but important details, like target market. Who's your target market, and how are you going to differentiate yourself? Why are people going to come to you? Like, you're not going to be like everybody else. What makes you unique, and stuff like that. So yeah, you just try to find an opportunity and find a gap in the market, which I'm sure you guys have learned. It's not always very easy, but if you are familiar with an area or whatever, and either in this world or in the online world or whatever, now that we're in 2022, find a gap and find a need, and then once you see that, then fill that need. So
yeah, I love what you said about that, because I do feel like a lot of what you learn in college is those big ideas and the core concepts. That's what you're going to take away much farther down the line. It's good to know those, social media skills now, but
right,
10, 20 years from now, it'll be those big things like the target market that you remember. That's really interesting.
Yeah, you're not going to remember every single detail from your class and stuff like that. Like, as I said, I went to school 20 years ago, right? So, but there's those big things. So
So like those big ideas were kind of like they just helped guide you.
Yeah.
With what you were doing now, and like kind of like where you wanted to go, but you just had to learn the experience on your own.
Yep.
Like how to actually apply them.
They're back there somewhere, right? You're like, oh yeah. Especially when you're actually doing something, then you're like, wait, there was something back there that I need to apply here. So yeah. And then your experience, and then if you have some assets, if you're starting a business, then you're going to need assets to use. And then you got to take risk. This is huge risk, right? We were saving for a house. If this didn't work out, I'd be still living with my in-laws or my own parents at 41 with kids and all that. So, I mean, I love them and all that, but.
So clearly your risk did pay off. Clearly it's been successful.
So far, so good.
So far. If you could go back and change anything or do anything differently, is there anything you would do differently?
It's pretty amazing, actually. We did a lot of planning for this bar. So this bar wasn't like a bar before we got here. It was an empty space. Basically, the drywall was up. There was concrete floor in here, but that's about it. So we put a bar in here. There was a nail salon in here before. So this was built from the ground up, and so we worked with an architect, and then with my experience working in a few different bars, designed the bar the best as we could. And it worked out pretty good. When you see it on the blueprint, and you plan. Eventually, you gotta like pull the trigger, right? And then you do it, and then it comes out the way it is, and then you're just like, okay. And then you work in it, and it worked pretty good. Yeah. So. We really don't have any regrets on the design of the bar and everything. It seemed to work out pretty good.
You would never guess it used to be a nail salon.
Yeah, right.
It used to be a nail salon?
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
I would never know.
But there's a nail salon down here now, just a couple doors down. So they opened a year or two after we opened up. So Berkeley gets the bar and a nail salon. They get both. So
no harm, no foul.
Yeah. Everyone seems to be happy.
So now that you find yourself a little more established with the Blue Abode, where do you kind of see it going in the future? Like, do you have any visions about what the Blue Abode can be?
Yeah, so obviously the last few years have been a really big roller coaster here with not just me, but everybody, right? Businesses, people, everybody. COVID has totally thrown a wrench in life. So, we've been just putting our heads down and just kind of keeping things basic here. I've been running the whole place by myself. Katie's been helping me as well in the background, and here on Friday night she'll come in and be my support person. But we definitely look forward and try to figure out ways that we can keep developing the business. And so, like a lot of people want to go more online. This is a social place, right? People need to be in here. And during COVID and all that, that was harder to do, to get people to come in here. If we could have more stuff available online, not like like a metaverse bar experience or anything like that. Who knows? Maybe that will be more in the future. I know that whole area is really in its infancy, but we'll see. I'll kind of keep my eyes on that. But like products to buy online and stuff like that, and maybe to go cocktails. We started to look into that, like maybe a canning thing of something, more merchandise, stuff like that. We just don't have a lot of time right now, so it's been hard to develop these other ideas, but we'd like to have some other stuff that we can have sales coming in online. Maybe even a YouTube channel where I can, that actually is something that we're going to start looking into coming up pretty soon here. So maybe we'll have that coming up soon, and we can get some sort of income off that and advertisements and stuff like that. So,
as far as your career goes, how do you see that progressing as well? Like, kind of coincides with the Blue Abode?
Yeah, with the last couple of years, like, who knows? When we first started, we have this pretty, get the bar started, you really don't know where it's going, and then a couple of years, then you have, well, people seem to like it and all that, and then COVID happened, and then it's just like, shoot, what's going on in the next month or two, or next week and stuff like that. So, and now, we're just taking it, kind of, short view at a time, but also having a bit of a longer term as well. But, who knows? We've re-signed our lease here, so we're going to be here for a bit. So we're really happy and comfortable with that. And then we'll just keep plugging away here and doing our best and seeing what new opportunities we can create for ourselves and then see what happens, right?
You kind of have an idea what the long term might look like? Is this something you kind of like fiddling around with in your head?
Well, like I said, trying to get more stuff online, see if we can get some sort of income streams developing online. I would love to see that.
It's kind of
go from there.
Be on multiple platforms is kind of what you're thinking?
Cool. Develop an income stream, various income streams online, and if just a little bit, start with that and kind of go from there, and then see what happens. So.
Yeah. And then, do you have any advice for students that are about to graduate and kind of enter the marketing industry in particular?
I would just say, you're going to have to be open-minded and try things. The degree is great, and then you can obviously develop that, go for your MBA. I didn't do that. I did my BA, and that was it. But I think from there, it's if you don't keep going with your degrees, you could get some more harder skills. I did bartending, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a hard skill to apply to your general marketing knowledge. And I think combining those together would be, a great way to do that, or whatever. You could do, plumbing or electrical or, any job like that. Because, if you get into creating your own business, you're going to need the business sense along with the hard skills. So, or have somebody, a good partner. For me, starting this business, Katie, my wife, was a great partner. Obviously, she's my wife, so, great. She's amazing. But she is also like a great business partner as well. Mm-hmm. Like, I would totally choose her as my business partner, setting up the business and helping me run it. So, just because she's got great organizational skills, she's very type A, very checklist person. Get things done, very organized and all that. So, as a project manager type of person, she's the best. So, and our contractor also thought so too. So, if you get a really good business partner, and when you're doing your marketing projects, that's kind of like a good taste of working with people and seeing what talents everyone has, and then apply your talents together to form a great project, or in the real world it would be a business. that's a great way to do it because you can't do it by yourself. Like I couldn't do this bar by myself. There's no way. So, yeah. And then you're gonna have capital. You gotta have capital, and you gotta take risk.
Yeah.
So, but be smart about your risk because, you know, if you keep screwing up, you know, taking you know, obscene risks and then losing, it's just gonna be harder to do it again. But
right, taking calculated risks.
Calculated
not
risks.
random, but
but
being able to pull the trigger. Yeah.
And with the bar here, you know, we were taking a very calculated risk, and you know, at the end of the day, we're just like, you know, if we mess this up, like I don't know, you know, we must be really dumb or something like that. Like I just felt like we had a lot of balls, you know, in our court, you know. So, and we had to believe in ourselves too, right? So, and we did. So, we're smart, you know. We've got multiple degrees, you know. She's got a psych degree. I've got a marketing degree. She's got a nursing degree. I've got my bartending experience, and so I don't know.
I gotta say, all those degrees are really good for customer service. I feel like those are, it's all very applicable to this.
Yeah,
it's very
totally,
interesting.
totally, yeah.
Well, we've had a great time talking to you. I have one more question.
Yeah.
How would you define marketing?
Marketing.
I know it's been a while.
Man, just, you know, getting your, how to get your product or ideas to the end user, and using tools to do that. Yeah, I guess that would be a general way to say it.
Yeah.
Hopefully I passed.
Don't worry, it's not graded. It's not graded. Well, thank you so much, Kurt and the Blue Abode, for hosting us today.
No problem, yeah.
We've had a great time getting to know you. I love your story about taking risks, and I think it's a great lesson for anyone, even if they're not starting a business or starting a bar.
Thank you.
If you want to follow Kurt or the Blue Abode, we'll have all of their socials in the description below.
We want to say thank you so much for tuning into the podcast today. You can follow the Marketing by the Minute podcast on all of our socials, linked in the description below. And we want to give a special shout out to our team behind the camera, our producers, Karlie Kildall and Sara Slone, our editor and sound tech, Arnav SenGupta, our product manager, Jace Gersten, and a special shout out to our instructor, Dan Purdy.
We're your hosts, Talia Aukema-Gray
And Steinar Mikkelson.
Talk to you next time on Marketing by the Minute on the Scene.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so we